am someone who uses a lot of LLMs and automation for this job. I see the value, I see the potential, but I also see the pitfalls. Today's video is about OpenClaw. It's an open source AI assistant that lives on your computer. I think it took me like 3 hours to complete it. And if you're using a cloud LLM like ChatGPT, it tells you how many tokens that you've used and how many you have left. When I started this journey, I'd only used 5% of my tokens for that month, and I'm on the $20 a month plan. By the time I was done with just getting it set up for the first time, my usage had jumped to 15%. And it turns out I used up all of that just getting OpenClaw set up. I had to refill my API tokens with another $10. I hadn't even created my first multi-million-dollar startup and posted about it on X yet. Almost $40 in just tokens. And this, my friends, is where people start to explore the world of local models and just getting some real beefy hardware to run it. The most important part of running LLMs locally is VRAM, the memory on your GPU. This is the first bottleneck that almost everyone hits. If the whole model fits in VRAM, it can be very fast. If it can't fill into VRAM and you're then using regular RAM or CPU processing power, the speed of that model, it tapers off very fast. Okay, cool. So I'll just get a computer that has a good GPU, lots of VRAM. Yeah, that's not exactly cheap. This is another reason why many people are opting for Mac Minis or Mac Studios for this type of workflow. But I got something better than a Mac Mini today. The specs of this mini PC are pretty nutty. AMD Strix Halo AI Max 395 chip, 128 gigs of DDR5 memory running at 8,000 megahertz, and dual 2TB PCIe SSDs. That Ryzen chip is an APU, which is a CPU and a GPU together on one chip. And the GPU in that chip is the Radeon 8060S. One of the last specs worth highlighting is that 2.5 gig NIC for networking. Now, what's sick about this PC and its APU and 128 gigs of DDR5 memory, 96 gigs of that memory can be allocated to the GPU. CPU and the memory usage skyrocketed when I started chatting with the Gemma 4 model. And if you stop talking to it for a minute, the usage goes back down. Give it another prompt, that usage just spikes again. And it stays up there for quite a bit. Now, one of the other big reasons that people are opting for local models instead of cloud models is privacy. When you're connecting to these cloud providers, almost always you're signing over a bit of privacy. They're going to use that data that you provide to train their models and improve their models and improve future models. And you never really know what you're giving away. Is that really something that you want just floating around in the cloud? You really want to be uploading legal documents that have really sensitive information? My interest is, can I take a 3-person podcast that's 3 hours and give that to a local model, have it spend an hour going through it frame by frame, transcribing, pulling out clips, and have all of that happening locally instead of paying a cloud service 20 or 40 bucks a month? And since I already have automations that download all of my social media platform analytics, can I have it cross-reference my posts from the past and what hooks I used and the scripts that I wrote? Can I find similarities in formats, and can OpenClaw say, hey, in this podcast, you had 3 clips that were really similar to clips that you've used in the past that performed really well. It might be a good idea to make these clips. Now, there's a little bit of technological advancement that needs to happen before we get to that point, but already we're seeing the trajectory of local models ramp up really fast. Going back to stress testing this hardware with local models, what I learned is that using OpenClaw and a local model via WSL2 on Windows is really not the best choice. And this PC is now going to be my dedicated AI PC.